Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable with yourself and relax your body. So this is our ongoing meditation session. Be comfortable with yourself, and once we get connected with the other network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable with yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, in this ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly try to share some basic, authentic information, very organic level of information for yourself to build up a very clear spiritual path. So when it comes to meditation, so we mainly practice two mental cultures. One is called tranquility meditation, and another one called the vipassana meditation. So out of this both, our main purpose is developing our mindfulness. So not to go with any kind of technique, not to be with the technique, not to practice meditation. That is not the purpose of our all this effort. Out of meditation, you have to develop the mindfulness. Once you have the mindfulness, that then your whole life going to become a kind of like a meditation. So what is the difference in between this mindfulness and ordinary life? Because this mindfulness mostly is missing from us. And even we don't know that we can develop that, we can be mindful. And sometimes we took it in a different way. And as mindfulness, sometimes we took something else also. So then you have to be very clear, and you have to be more connect with that, and with the practice you have to master, and you have to recognize where you should focus to develop your practice, not to increase the hours, not to get into many techniques, not to go into many teachings or the gurus or the many kind of religions, not to get into different rituals, but yourself to get into mindfulness. So when there are some negations, we need to get to understand that when regarding this mindfulness, because when you are not mindful, what happens? So one thing is, you always depend on thoughts when you are not mindful. Thinking regarding the past or the future, always mind will go with that when you are not mindful. But once you are mindful, you don't need past or the future thoughts to depend on that and maintain in the present moment. So how you can do that? We're going to talk about it today. Another thing is that when you are not mindful, your own mind is like a paper tiger. You know, paper tigers, it's look like a tiger, but it doesn't have any power. You know, it doesn't have any kind of strength. It doesn't have any kind of the behavior or kind of like any outcome out of that paper regarding a tiger. So then you feel kind of like you live, you feel kind of like that you have things, but you don't have anything. And you completely missing the very meaning of life also when you are not develop this mindfulness. And sometimes we think, oh, we have a mind, but we get into the work, we recognize it's not kind of like that easy for us to handle our own mind. And sometimes you may heard people say, oh, this my mind make me crazy. You know, I go nuts. And sometimes people say it kill me, our own mind. In the kind of like it's become a kind of like a bad boss. So then it give a hard time to you. So then the solution is get into this mindfulness. So it's when it comes to that, remember, it's kind of like in the beginning, it's like an operation. So you can't do the way that you want. You have to follow some kind of, you know, certain kind of like a protocol. You know, so to get into that. So one thing is that the most of time in ordinary life, as a life, we mostly follow the concept. That's where this conceptual understanding comes. Out of the concept, we bring this understanding. So out of the concept, and you develop the thoughts, and out of the thoughts you build up the opinions, and then you try to live on it. So that way you can't get this. So then we come to a point to drop that everything and just try to develop a very sustainable way to maintain our own mind itself and see what happens. Because if you look very carefully, that your thoughts in a different layer and try to build up a life, and it's a conceptual that understanding, and it has a different life. But the real life happening to you is totally different. Have you ever thought, have you ever seen that the difference? The whatever as life happening to you is totally different, and whatever that you think about life is totally different. So through the practice of meditation, what we're trying to build up a pattern to develop a bridge ourselves to get into the connection that life itself happening there, not what the life we think. So for that, we can't use the thoughts in the beginning. We have to let go of the thoughts, and then what happens? Because the mind always needs some kind of object in the beginning. So what we can do for that? So that's why we go to the sensation. Get the sensation as a primary mental object. But even though you get the sensation as a primary mental object, you have to remember your main purpose is, your primary purpose is develop the mindfulness. And by the time you have to let go the primary mental object, not to depend on object always. So that is a method, step by step, that you have to get into that detachment. So the detachment, sometimes we think that from things we detach our mind. But how about, have you ever thought, can you detach your mind from objects? Why you always need an object? Why you always need a kind of like a picture to think something, to depend on something? Because the mind always 24/7, and it's an unstoppable way that have a communication with the pictures or the colors or the thoughts or the words. And there is no end. Even you go to sleep and still in a deep sleep, sometimes you have that inner conversation. And sometimes some people know that while you're sleeping, sometimes your mind becomes so powerful than as ordinary day with the conversation. So then how you can get out of it? So that's why this, by the time you have to remember, if you focus always to the primary mental object, and even you practice meditation, by the time you neglect the mindfulness. So then always you have to remember, you take the primary mental object, but your mindfulness is the key point. So once you start to follow the sensation, by the time, little by little, what happens, once your mindfulness becomes stronger, you start to recognize the sensation in that very moment. So to recognize the sensation right in that very place, you have to have a very clear, sharp, strong mind. Otherwise, you mostly recognize whatever the things happen, the outcome we recognize. The mostly we receive as a sensation, the result. The very moment it happened, we don't see sometimes. So that's why you have to develop the mind to get into that. And when you develop that, you have to detach from categorizing or any judgment or any favor. So as example, we observe the inhalation, exhalation. Just imagine in and out, and while that the inhalation, exhalation happen, it's both the same. It's not the separation. Your life happened out of this both. And when the inhalation, exhalation happens, as a result of that, the inside all the organs develop as a push and pull. So that this all interconnected. Then if you don't see it in that balance, or otherwise if you start to put any favor to something, in that very moment, right away, you disconnect from the very deeper truth. So that's why this detachment is very necessary when you observe, and once you get into the sensation, and when once you start to detach moment by moment, but still keep observe what happens, you develop the strength and power to go deeper and find the beginning point rather than stay on the top of the outcome. So if you are capable to channel your awareness to the sensation and be with it, that rather than becoming busy, rather than reacting, rather than bringing your mental opinions, rather than looking for something else. So if you learn to wait while you seeing, knowingly you are seeing, then you develop some kind of strength and ability not to respond to this outcome of the sensation, and but to see the very beginning of that. So it's a little by little process. So only thing is learn to wait. So that is the key point. That is the number one. Be ready to wait. As example, whenever you go somewhere, sometimes, that if you're ready to wait, it's okay. Then it doesn't make any kind of disappointment once you are there, because you're ready to it. So like that, when you observe in deeper with any meditation technique, the very first key point you have to prepare yourself. Be ready to wait. So then whatever that you settle down, you go with it. So the second one, very important, always detach from the result. That is very, very difficult for us. Why? Because and in a very conventional life, we always look for the result. When we see the result, sometimes, we become very anxious. And sometimes we want to jump forward. And another way, excitement. We need that. If you are not excited, the other people say, oh, what happened to you? Are you okay? Is there something wrong with you? Because you are not excited. So this excitement is what you can't wait. Another thing is you have no power, the strength to detach from the result. So if anybody even in the very conventional life, remember one of the major secrets that to become a better person, if you develop the power to detach from the result, when the result start to come, sometimes what happened before the result come, we so into that, we visualize it, dreaming, we can't handle it. We agitate and we abuse our mind from the dreams. So then what happened? When it comes towards you, and sometimes you can't wait, and then you lose the opportunity. So especially with the mind, So when you practice, so as example, your purpose, just imagine your purpose is observing the sensation of inhalation. And then once you see it, little bit step back rather than, oh, I found it, I found it. So kind of like you become so happy and then mind become busy, disappear. And sometimes the calmness, relax, the comfort, and the deeply that you start to feel some kind of happiness, interconnection, your body, mind, breathing become to one, then suddenly you start to feel some kind of result. Then what happens? You try to jump it to it, you try to hold it to it. Oh, I get it, I get it. Once you start to hold anything, remember, that is the time you start to lose it. Even in the material world, the same. Even in the material world, the same. Once you start to love something so much, remember, that is the day you start to throw it away from you. That is the beginning. So then develop, when it comes towards you, step back. So detach from the result, knowingly, not to jump to it. And so then now you have to be mindful, not about that whatever happening. You have to be mindful regarding your inner reaction, your inner behavior. So the first one is the learn to wait, and the second one is detach from the result. And the third one, not to put any judgment, not to put any judgment on your mental view or your experience. So that is you need to practice and you need to know about it and you need time for that. Because so far we build up this our character, and out of this human life, our judgment build up through many pillars. So one is gender, from childhood, that we program with our gender to look into things, culture, tradition, environment, time. Those are huge barriers around us, and with our judgment nourished by these all materials. So that's mean when you experience something, so whatever thoughts or whatever that the perception come to you, observe it and recognizing without putting any judgment to that. That is where you recognize it. This moment by moment, that experience. So once you have these three qualities, now you learn to wait and you develop the detachment from the result, and you don't have any judgment. So then what happens? You are capable to be with any sensation right now, right here. When the sensation is there, you recognize. And then you will see it happens so fast. And it comes from very deep. And it happens so fast, it's come from very deep. And at the same time, it disappears very quick. That's why if you don't know how to wait, if you don't know how to detach from the outcome, and if you bound with the judgment, you can't get the the real sensation. You get the already sensation gone, but you get the some kind of outcome. It's kind of like you drink the dust. It's not the tea. In Sri Lanka we have tea factories, and the very real good tea, and sometimes people don't get it. It's because it's go to it's a high class tea, and it's go to very rich places, and just the people will get the dust, but they enjoy it, but they never know it is dust, and they never know that the reality is what. So like that ourselves, when we not capable to see the very bottom of the beginning of sensation, and sometimes we see something else. So then when the sensation is there, be with it, and then it will disappear. When are the sensation? Be with it, be with it. So like that you will see the sensation arise so fast. Once the mindfulness capable to be with it, and your sensation become only the sensation, and there is a beauty. And with the science, it's like this. Okay, so this, if the human capable to travel same level to the speed of the light, and you don't see any change. If the human are capable to travel according to the speed, the same level of the speed of the light, and then you don't see the change. So the same thing here. Once you are capable to recognize the sensation according to its own speed, you will get out of the pain or the pleasure from any sensation. So the sensation become pain or pleasure once you detach from the sensation, because the pain or the pleasure come out of the thoughts. So that means you detach from the sensation. You didn't recognize the beginning point, and you depend on thoughts, not the sensation. Because once you tune to the real sensation, there is no right or wrong, good or bad, pain or pleasure. So that kind of things. So it's a different kind of experience. And moment by moment, with the sensation, you go, and in that very level, your mindfulness and experience everything as one, no separation. It's like there's no left and right for you. So you come out of that dualistic mind, but it's still the experience going to be there. So that is one thing, that separation from the conventional life to your spiritual awareness, your spiritual awakened mind. So it is possible. It's a step by step. By practicing, you have to develop this method. So we can keep talking, keep going, like bringing different example, but still 1 minute of practice and experience is so important for you than 100-hour audio book. So but still you have to know. So by listening you can be very clear, but remember, you have to sharpen, you have to master it by practice. So then while you observe inhalation, exhalation, knowingly that you observe it, remember, develop the skill to wait, and develop the skill when the result comes to detach from it, and without putting any judgment on your experience, learn to see it. So that way you are capable to little by little go deeper. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left, neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it. If your mind go here and there, any sensation arise, any disturb arise, just recognize it, be mindful. So don't break your mindfulness, keep and develop the continuation of the mindfulness. If the mind go here and there, don't worry about it. Bring attention to your body, please, and observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, the stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light to your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Sri Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chami sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribundissami idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchutu. Bless you.